Well, it's not really a special presentation. We're just starting early. I'm going ahead and jumping out the gate with this because we don't want to miss any of it. It's protective orders. We love you guys. Thank you to all 300 additional subscribers over on We Got a Case exclusive channel. And let's go ahead and get into the action, shall we?
Hands for me, please. Mr. Armstrong, raise your right hand for me. Swear the testimony in this case be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, yes.
Okay, you may be
Both
seated.
these
You may
guys are
stand.
in person, by the way. I don't think they know how to use Zoom.
And Mr. Armstrong, you close enough to be able to hear me?
I have.
Okay. And is it Mr. Ray or Mr. Rush?
It's Raymond Rush.
Okay, you and Mr. Armstrong, you and Mr. Rush are neighbors?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh boy.
20
Neighbor
feet
dispute.
okay.
apart. I don't know why that I'm even here.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that right now.
None of these things are true.
Okay.
We'll struggle through, Vinny. We'll struggle through. It's a collector's item. The new shirts are already up. If you go back to the store, the new Creed
And
Mike
Mr. Armstrong, where do the two of you live?
I live on Alpine Drive, on Alpine Drive. I live up on the west side at Friendly Village or Friendly Ridge, whatever they call it.
Okay, and Mr. Rush is your neighbor out there?
Yes.
Okay,
I live here, he lives right here.
okay, and tell me why you filed this order.
When I came home, just about a week before I saw you last time, my wife was like this, he attacked me. And I saw I came to protect her. And she no longer wants anything to do with it. So we're here. But I did what I thought was right to do.
Okay, do you want to proceed with this or
Well,
what do you want to do?
I just soon drop it, but same thing is, I want nothing to do with him, he wants nothing to do with me.
Okay,
That's where it sits.
Two old curmudgeons really going at it. Southern Charms,
wanna
good to
know
see you. Welcome.
Why you said that I grabbed
you're just talking to me today.
you? Okay. Ask him why I was supposed to have grabbed him. I never touched him in my life.
Mm.
I met his wife and I shook her hand when we first moved in. And I shook her hand when I asked her to paint my porch. And she said she would.
Okay.
That's the last time I touched his wife or anything. He's abused me verbally every time he sees me.
Okay.
I've been in the Navy and I've been in logging camps. And he used worse language than any of them loggers or sailors could. And I'm just a little bit tired of it.
Okay,
Spicy language. Alert. Oh, these two old dudes. Love it.
all right. So let me be clear, Mr. Armstrong, you would like me to dismiss this order, but you would like Mr. Rush not to have any contact
I
with
don't
you.
want to contact him at all.
Okay,
He threw me off the spot a year ago, and I'm gonna stay that way,
okay,
okay?
all right. All right, so Mr. Rush, I'm going to dismiss the order. We're not going to have any further hearing. Mr. Armstrong's asked that you not have any contact with him, and I've heard you ask that he not have any contact with you.
That's fine.
Okay. So I'll get this signed here in just a moment.
Hey, I decided I wanted to check
What
it out.
do I do if he starts getting mouthy and calling me a SOB and other nasty words?
My initial thought would be you pretend you don't hear him.
You can't help but hear them.
And then if you decide that it really
Our
bothers,
houses-
okay, yeah, I get it. If you decide it really bothers you and you want to come in, you can come in, you can do the same thing here. But I would suggest the two of you just recognize the fact that you're irritating each other and just leave each other alone and don't say anything to each other at all.
These old dudes.
So don't say anything to Mr. Rush. Mr. Rush, don't say anything to Mr. Armstrong.
It's not going to
And
work.
let's see if we can bring peace to Friendship Village.
Friendship Village. These guys definitely do not live in Friendship Village.
Is that it?
In just a minute, I'm going to sign this and then we're going to each give you a copy so you have it.
I saw that. I saw that. I'll take it under consideration. This judge takes his time. He is very methodical. And while he is taking his time, I will thank our good friend Flusha for 2 bones. And Terminator
This is
returning.
government after all. We have to have
Thank
I
you.
believe it.
a lot.
It's too much.
I agree.
One of these days, this world's gonna turn upside down with the paperwork.
Love this old dudes. They definitely have a
Judge, being he brought this, all this forward, he pays the court costs.
I'm sorry.
Being he brought all of this forward
Mhm.
and everything, he pays for the court costs, right?
Yeah, nobody has to pay anything. So we're all done. We're just going to make you each a copy.
these old guys.
That's great.
Yep.
Been watching it. Reminds me of that other court. Remember when it got cut off? It's like the two. It's like, I swear to God, the same guys. I mean, I know it's not, but it's.
They are just they hate one another. The other guy claimed it, the one grabbed him like this.
Keep working until you die.
Well,
You didn't get the
I'm
memo. We're
trying.
starting early until about 3 minutes ago. I made it.
Yeah.
Though. That's all right.
I was waiting for them to start and they started and then this popped up. I said, oh boy.
I'm significantly older than you were when you retired. So,
Keep right on working until you die.
yes, sir.
Until you die, Judge.
Yeah, they'll have to pull me out of here.
It's a heck of a thing to say, but it's a truth. When you get working, why then things start happening.
Yep.
Yeah, a minute early. Thank you, JJ.
Right on time. In other time zones, Creed was right with us. You didn't even see it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. So the only thing we have
Thank you,
missed.
Mr. Rush. And
Time,
Mr.
sir.
Armstrong, you can come on up to get your copy as well.
Yeah, I keep these old guys apart. They both got canes, by the way.
Heading back to Friendship Village.
Yeah, there was a case that started, but they had to stop it because
Good.
they didn't have the
Yep.
proper paperwork when it was served.
That's right.
Ah,
We share the same.
So they're letting them read it. And going forward, it's a guy who got fired from a job. And then he was telling former coworkers he was going to shoot them in the head. So
All
that's as far as we got.
Thank you,
with
Mr.
the,
Armstrong.
I'm going to shoot you in the head talk.
no, it's burned out back, Flusha. We might have missed
Oh.
Sansom instead of PP, maybe.
I'll check it.
Got 3 hands, none of them working. Have fun.
Yeah, you too.
Have fun. You kids be good now.
Congratulations on your movement up to mayor. Why does this thing keep jumping? Another one of those days.
Oh, yeah. I was having a hard
Terminator.
time with- Oh,
The mayor level.
upgrade. Yeah. Who's handsome coming in, dropping a big 25 bones.
Hell yeah.
And Ms. Sawyer, are you ready or do you need more time?
And that's in the PP, so it's like $8,000.
Your Honor,
on
I
YouTube.
am ready.
All right, so
Okay,
this is
ready.
the same case.
All
Back
right,
to
I'll
it.
remind both
All right,
parties.
so this is the one that didn't
sworn,
have the
and I'll
paperwork.
Yeah,
Go
the
back to
guy's
the question I had asked Ms.
threatening to
Armbruster,
shoot
which she
people.
has answered. And Ms. Sawyer, you're going to ask her some questions.
Yes, so I have that answer. Ms. Armbruster, it looks like you have proffered to the court some text messages from Mr. Prather. Are these the only text messages you've received?
From Mr. Prather?
Yes.
In regards to this or just in general?
Well, in regards to this, since his termination.
The only text messages I've received, and the other text messages referring to about that he's going to make our life, you know, uncomfortable, were from Jamie Dolan.
Was he in the
Okay,
monkeys?
and I'm sorry, where is it in your exhibits that you have that he's going to make your life uncomfortable?
It's one of the attachments. It's a text message string that he sent to Jamie Dolan. It's the last text message on Wednesday, March 8th. I'm going to make Strange, Murphy, Armbruster, and Conrad's life very uncomfortable.
It happened during shift change.
Things happen. It's Monday.
And is in any of these correspondence that you've had with Mr. Prather, and I don't see that message in here. I pulled the exhibits and I don't see that. I have a text message and I have a Facebook post.
Thank you, Angela.
But in any of these communications with you directly, has he threatened you?
No, they're all from another party. I said that at the beginning.
And Ms. Armbruster, when the termination took place, was Mr. Prather armed?
Not in the conference room, but he had his gun out in the parking lot in his vehicle.
Ooh.
And he made twice to two separate employees.
To two separate employees? I see the one to one. I don't see another one to another employee.
Nope, there's not an incident report, but he made another comment, not directed at me, but that he had a gun in his vehicle.
And with that comment, did he threaten you?
I just said he didn't threaten me, that the only threat came from Lon Turner, where he said he thought about coming back in and shooting me in the head. You have that incident report.
I do have that incident report, and I'm trying to establish how that comes to a direct threat to you.
That included a
which is
10
where my
already. I like
questions
it.
are leading.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen him armed since this?
And I haven't seen Mr. Prather.
Okay. And where do you live, Ms. Armbruster?
I live in Olympia.
Okay. And where does Mr. Prather live?
He lives in the Spokane area.
Okay.
Austin Arms.
And how often throughout
Armbruster.
his career or your career, whoever has been left, have you seen Mr. Prather in the workplace?
I have no idea. I mean, we've worked together for 25 years, so I don't know what that has anything to do with this conversation.
And so out of those 25 years, how many times a year would you see Mr. Prather?
I don't know, a couple?
And has he ever threatened you before?
No. I don't.
Your Honor, I don't have any further questions.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Armbruster, do you have any further testimony you wish to present today, apart from your testimony and what you submitted as exhibits?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
That's my
All right, thank
finisher,
you.
by the way.
And Ms.
Armbruster.
Sawyer, do you want to
Thank
ask
Your Honor.
questions of Mr. Prather?
I actually do not. I would actually just like to go off argument if that would be okay with Your Honor.
That's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court and parties here. I am asking that you deny this protection order today, mostly because the statutory factors have not been met for harassment. When you look at RCW 7105-010, specifically subsection 36, for unlawful harassment, even by Ms. Armbruster's testimony, it is clear that there is not a course of conduct. This is not a pattern of behavior or anything such as that. So then we are looking at 36B, which is a single act of violence or threat of violence directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, harasses, or is detrimental and serves no legitimate lawful purpose, which would cause that person and must actually cause the substantial emotional distress. But a single threat of violence, Your Honor, must include a malicious and intentional threat or presence of a firearm. Your Honor, what we have here is we have Ms. Armbruster making two allegations. One, that my client has posted on Facebook that individuals and I'm sorry, I'd have to go back to the thing, the petition here, posting on Facebook how he's going to make everybody's life hell, which is not what he posts. We provide you the post, and even the posts provided by Ms. Armbruster are that the Seattle Times is going to love me, and he's making comments about the department, but he doesn't threaten anybody. There is zero threats for any individual, let alone Ms. Armbruster. And he says DOC leadership is totally woke and effed up. And that is his opinion, and that's his social media, and he has that ability to do that. But there is no threat of violence here, Your Honor. When you look at this allegation that my client called and talked to Mr. Turner, you have one person saying this. My client, as you can tell from our declaration, says those are not the words that came out of my mouth. Of course, he was unhappy. He had been with the department for over 20 years. He was 4 years away from retirement,
Oof.
and he had done a great job, as he outlines in his declaration. And now he's getting fired. He doesn't quite understand why. They just told him that it was a
Hello
business
and welcome.
decision. So yes, he's frustrated, but he tells you there is not one time where he made one comment about shooting her in the head or even that he had a weapon present. There is no evidence here. There is not even an allegation that there was a weapon present. And under the statute, it requires the presence of a firearm or other weapon, and it's not there. Your Honor, this idea that my client has threatened to kill her, I mean, they live on opposite sides of the state. Clearly, my client has no reason to go over to that side of the state now. She doesn't know where her personal address is, and he's not allowed to be on the DOC grounds anymore because he's no longer an employee. So, Your Honor, this idea that we have this protection order, this anti-harassment order that needs to be entered, Your Honor, this does not fall under the statute. It is not harassment. And Ms. Armbruster, I'm not certain where else she's gathering all of this information, but even the exhibits that I have here, Your Honor, don't evidence that my client has directly threatened to kill Ms. Armbruster with a weapon. I'm asking you to deny this today. The preponderance of the evidence has not been met. And I'm asking for fees today because my client clearly was just released from his job and now has to defend this action without even a single thread of actual evidence that this single threat of violence with a weapon occurred. There's not even evidence that a weapon was there. Further, Your Honor, it has to show, the petitioner has to show that it actually causes emotional distress. And there is nothing in the petition or nothing in the testimony about how this has caused actual emotional distress. Your Honor, I'm asking you to deny this order today. Do you have any questions?
And Ms. Armbruster, it's your petition. Like I said, I have everything you submitted and what you said. Do you have anything further you want to say? And by
Yes,
way of
exactly,
argument,
Rick. That's why we're here.
Your Honor,
That's
I'd just
why
like
we
to
don't
say this
even-
has caused significant distress. I have a daughter who lives in Spokane. Mr. Prather knows that. I'm over in Spokane quite frequently, and I am scared. And I did provide the evidence. And he continues to talk
travels.
to our employees at work, trying to dig for information. So I would just ask that you keep this protection order in place for my safety. Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you.
Am I the only one who thinks she ain't going to get it?
I don't think so. I just this much evidence. If
I mean, I'm
That-
sure he is pissed. He was 25 years on the job, 4 years away from retirement.
that's a lot. But thank you, Five Bones.
I'd be
I like a
mad.
little something.
Something.
And guys, the Nashville thing, absolutely terrible. Whenever things happen like that, we're a good spot to get away from all of that. It's why we don't bring some of those terrible things to light and discuss them same reason we stay away from politics, things like that. It's nice to have kind of a refuge away from
It's your escape from reality. Reality.
exactly. Bask in other people's
Plenty of
issues
places.
today.
Yeah, plenty of places you can go and talk about those kinds of things, and
Oh,
that's what you're
absolutely.
feeling for it. But here, no, not going to do it.
Yeah. But don't think that our lack of bringing it up or talking about it means any different as far as,
The way we feel
Sure.
about it.
thoughts on it. Exactly. So, whole thing. Like Mikey said, I mean, things like that happen, then you're inundated with that. Constant updates,
Yeah.
And
Miss Sawyer over here. I'm glad she didn't let him talk because he was doing some really weird fidgety stuff back there with his face and
And I
his
think he
hands.
has a reason to be that way. It almost sounds. I almost feel like, and again, this is good thing I'm not a judge. Miss Armbuster just came off to me.
Everything she had was secondhand too. It was like secondhand. This person said this and this person said that.
I just when you instantly fire back with attitude, it's almost like you're guilty to me. And my thoughts on things like that, it feels that way to me when you just automatically are defensive. You know what I mean? Like overly defensive. That's like we make jokes about. It's easy to spot a lie. They go on 10 minutes about something, one little stupid thing. You know what I mean? Kind of like that. I don't know.
I would love to have heard why he was fired.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we didn't dig a little bit deeper into what's going on there. Hello, Samson.
Samson.
I
I don't think she got much.
Did she submit some evidence maybe that we're not?
Just only thing she submitted were incident reports from other workers that said he said this to us and reported it to HR. Rappaport. So, I mean, I don't know.
And guys, long time coming for the name change. It should have been done in its infancy. I mean, when we started doing chases and that.
Old habits are hard to break. Don't mean we won't ever do one. We still got all the stuff ready to go.
Oh, absolutely. It's just that this channel has evolved to what it is a long time ago and should have been handled then, but it is kind of risky in a sense, to do that, but it's not. It's well overdue. And
that's like last night I was in one of the Stringer chats out there in LA and I said hello and he was like, Mikey's coming to LA, by the way, everybody. If you haven't checked out Creed and Mikey over on Credence and Bishop. And I'm like,
it just makes no sense.
It's
so long. I mean, it's funny when people come in and say, "Hey, Bishop," and you get mad. I mean, I still, I'll miss.
It's not
that.
mad. It's just like,
no, I know it is annoying.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it.
This judge takes his time. He's like Mrs. Buttersworth.
Well, not that that's bad.
No.
You could sit in front of a judge. It's very, very quick, and it might make you feel a little different about what's going on. At least it takes the time to read it. That's like Stansbury. And you think about Judge George and Stansbury over Licking, in the way that they sometimes take the time to really read through things, which I know if I was in front of a judge, I would certainly appreciate that. While we have 2 seconds, just wanted to check in with Judge Boyd and just check out the beautiful flowers. Of course, the handbag today. We always love
A++.
And a beautiful gut over there on that dude there.
Fresh start of a week. Oh, by the way, I did at the beginning of the show, I thanked all the new subscribers over on We Got a Case. 300 new subscribers just over the weekend. And we really appreciate that. That's a huge bump.
Did we miss? Okay, JJ. So there's a business decision. I guess that could fall into maybe they were harassed a little bit into making that.
I am going to grant Ms. Armbruster's request for the protection order. I'm going to find that Mr. Turner's statement, which was detailed with some explicit information about a conversation he had with Mr. Prather very shortly after the termination of Mr. Prather, where Ms. Armbruster was present and involved. Made a very explicit observation that he was thinking about going back to his vehicle and grabbing a weapon from his vehicle and shooting Ms. Armbruster in the head. There is also information before the court and the exhibits that He subsequently sent texts to Ms. Prather, or pardon me, to Ms. Armbruster, which reflected that emotionally he was angry. And I'll find that the threat that was relayed to Mr. Turner certainly is the one incident that Ms. Sawyer was pointing out. However, that incident or that occurrence then continues with the sending angry texts to Ms. Armbruster. So in my mind, that's the course of conduct. And it was reflected in all the public statements that Mr. Prather was making, both the direct text to Ms. Armbruster and his Facebook posts. He certainly has the right to say what he wants, but in this case, some of those comments contributed to, clearly in my mind, a course of conduct that started with his anger at being terminated, which is understandable. However, when that elevates to the point of a threat and then the presence of a weapon in the truck, that becomes something entirely different. So the court is satisfied that there was indeed a course of conduct, and that the various statements made by Mr. Prather satisfied the requirements of the statute, and certainly Ms. Armbruster, like any reasonable person, would have significant concern about the nature of those statements and the threat to her physical health. For those reasons, I will find the order appropriate. I will once again
Thought he was
sign
going
the
there.
order with the requirement that Mr. Prather surrender any firearms he has possession of. and not possess any
Wow.
firearms.
I have a
And,
feeling he was just
Ms.
reading through
Armbruster,
some
this
stuff that
order
we
is
are
in
not
effect for
privy
1
to.
year from today's date. If you want it renewed, you'll have to come back.
That's
to court
my
and
guess.
ask for it to be renewed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It had to
I-
be that the
Provide each party a copy of the order that I
it
have.
had to be that the complaint from the employee was very detailed, that it went beyond just, oh, he come
Right.
up and said he was going to shoot her in the head.
Right, like that was a fairly decent character witness, I guess, as far as that goes. Something like that.
I'm very surprised. Then, but when he started talking, I'm like, oh boy,
That's what it sounded, right?
Are we going down that road? I
Yeah.
was going to wait for a, but I don't think it happened though. No
Thank you.
buts. All right, Judge, what you got next?
I'm surprised. Oh, God, release is not a vampire. Thank you, 5 bones. Look at that.
I know. For you
That's
to
a good
know
one.
it, we'll have $20 in the coffer over there.
Hell yeah.
While he's getting us ready for the next case, please drop the like if you will. I'd appreciate that. A surprise right there. I mean, I'm kind of shocked.
No, still head of the janitorial services as well.
Got to clean these toilets.
Yeah, him being fired. Boy, that's gonna hurt though after 25
Getting
years.
fired and getting now a protective order against you losing all your PPUs. Ugh.
The Creed on the Mikey show. I'd like that.
Well, I mean, kind of doesn't roll off the tongue, but it's all right.
Good
It's all
enough to make sure that you can put that in parentheses.
All right, Ms. Tolliver, the Luttrells, and Ms. Levon, if you would, and Ms.
The
Jones.
Luttrells, are
you
we
would all
Family Feud?
activate
Come on
your
down.
Audio,
Yeah.
video, please.
Either that or we're getting ready for a gospel concert. Oh, hi, Jesse, Michael.
Okay, so
Crystal's in the
I
bathroom.
see
Oh, yes, she is.
Michael is
Ms. Levon, Ms.
Sit on the
Tolliver.
toilet or the side of the
and
tub? What do you
the
think?
Luttrells. Okay, everybody raise your right hands for me.
This is going to be interesting.
Nah, she's in bed.
Swear the
She's curled up
testimony in
with
this
a...
case be the
Yeah, I
truth,
see it
whole
now.
truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I do.
And you all live in the same place, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All those people in one place?
And I've read everything that you have filed. I haven't read anything you filed today, but
The stuff on
we'll see whether
Jesse
that even needs
Michael
to happen.
and Crystal's wall look similar.
Since you
Oh, same house.
all have filed material, I'm going to sort of summarize it. And I'll first note that the judge who originally heard this did not issue any protection orders, just said, let's have a hearing on this. And that's what we're doing today. So Ms. Tolliver, you are concerned about fights that are occurring among other residents in the shelter, the noise that happens, and also Facebook posts. Is that right?
Yes, not just, I mean, yeah, I guess those could be overall. They also,
Thank you.
things that go missing,
Thank you.
and then just additional like antagonizing of people
In a shelter,
even
did he say?
Yeah.
outside of me, doing things in general just to make life harder for people. And I can even reference different events if needed, but yeah, it's
Okay, so Ms. Tolliver, what I'm going to ask you to do is just focus all your comments about it on anything that's direct to you, not on behalf of the rest of the people in the shelter.
okay. Well, no, I'm just saying it makes it like, for example, one night I came and I have muscle wasting. I have a couple tumors. So that is why I'm in a shelter. I can't work anymore. My prior job role, I was a scientist. Or I guess I'm still a scientist. And they have advised that people could park in the disabled parking to load and unload their stuff, or near the disabled parking to load and unload their stuff. I have my own little cart that I've had for a while because of my muscle wasting issues. And I had loaded my groceries into it and I came inside, and then my daughter was having a fit because she decided she wanted to eat an Uncrustable and I was about to cook dinner. So I'm going back and forth with her about how she's not going to eat the Uncrustable and how I'm going to put it in the fridge right now. And then Luna comes in and she's just like, you need to move your car right now. It's going to get towed. We're going to tow your car. You've been parked there for over an hour. We've been waiting behind you for over an hour, which that's literally impossible because I just loaded the stuff into the cart and brought it in. And yes, she was having the fit, but it was not over an hour that I was there. And then she's just going off and I was just like, leave me alone. Like, why are you can already hear that my daughter is not having a good time right now. You know that staff has told everybody who lives either down here or upstairs that they can sit there to load and unload their stuff. So why would you come in, but not only come in and then lie and say that I've been parked there over an hour when literally the receipt from Safeway wasn't even 30 minutes old. So it's just, even with just me, they do stuff like that. They also have odors coming from their room, which they claim is from their dog using the bathroom in their room, or they say it's from their children's diapers, or they'll take stuff and put it like right outside their door that smells terrible. I have tumors in my lungs too, on top of asthma, which I have had an asthma attack here for the first time in a long time. I haven't had before. But then if I clean, they will tell staff that me cleaning affects their asthma. So I'm not allowed to clean, but they also like their dogs will use the bathroom out here in the common area, which is where I stay. And I can even show you, I can show you the common area. And they don't clean it up. They just let it sit until it dries. So I'm the one who has to go and clean it up. There's other people who've witnessed that as well. If need be, I can get them. The only reason I haven't really been able to get a lot of statements and everything from people, even though I do have people who want to give statements, is because I have a lot of medical stuff I have to do. So I can't just dedicate all day to just this. But yeah, that's really the most of it. Like another time they stole one of my plates, as well as they stole one of my neighbor's plates. And when I caught them with it, they gave me this whole grand story about how they bought the plate at Walmart and how they got like all these different colors. And they bought both plates and they were both collections at Walmart. And I checked the plate and it's from Target. It's the Target brand itself. So it's not from Walmart. And I just said, hey, this may look like your plate. I get it. It's just a generic plate, but this is my plate. So next time, just double check before you take it. And I didn't even take my neighbor's plate because I couldn't confirm for sure it was my neighbor's plate. And that became a whole big deal that resulted in her making all these posts about me on Facebook. She's also lied and said that I hit my daughter, which I don't do. And that is something that's very important to me because hopefully when I'm healthier again, I will go back to nursing school. And that is something very serious, especially because I want to work with babies. So, and I don't hit my daughter. I've never hit her. I even have people who wanted to make statements. I just didn't upload them in time about the fact that as long as they've known me, I've never hit my daughter. Even my daughter's dad, who was like not really involved with my daughter, like wrote a text message confirming that, yeah, I said that no matter what, there would not be any spanking involved with our child, even like I've hit thing or the hand thing or any of that. But that stuff does seriously affect me, because if I do get into nursing school or something later on, and then someone says, oh, well, these people say that she was beating her daughter so bad that everybody was terrified and shaking in fear, that can negatively affect me. And that can make all my hard work go into nothing. Even if I don't go to nursing school and I want to work back in a lab, that's still considered working with vulnerable populations. So that will ruin my entire life. And I've worked way too hard for everything that I have to have people who just want to cause problems with people try to destroy someone online. Not even just online, but even in person and to other people. I'm not going to go through that. That's why I want the anti-harassment. I don't want them to post about me. I don't want them to talk about me. I don't want them to talk to me. I don't want them to be able to.
I think so.
I
Very,
don't want them to talk to my child.
very
That's
petty
another thing.
is
My
what I
daughter was
believe
having
this is.
fits.
Uh-huh.
She is on the autism spectrum and does have ADHD. When she was having her fits, they would try to like give her candy, give her food, give her rewards, give her all these things. And it's like,
So, Angela.
I asked them multiple times to stop, and I really had to pretty much cuss them out to get them to stop, because my daughter's having a fit. You offering her candy or pizza or whatever is not, that's not the way that you treat it.
Everybody gives her candy because she's having a fit.
Yeah, and honestly, after I cussed them out and they stopped doing that, she doesn't have the fits to the degree that she has anymore. Because before, in her mind, she was like, oh, okay, if I do this, then I get some candy. If I do this, then I get some soda. If I do this, then I get so those are just like the general things. Also, too, another thing I was concerned about is I do not want someone to know that I'm staying here. I am very concerned about my safety, and as well as my daughter's safety with this person. And I knew that they would do stuff like post people's stuff online. That's another reason that I got the anti-harassment even before. And what do you know? They went on Facebook and they posted another one of our neighbor's cars, claiming the neighbor's car was blocking the disability parking, when the neighbor's car actually wasn't, because you can see on the picture the neighbor's
just
car.
talk about.
Well, no, I'm only referencing me, but I'm
Thank
just
you,
saying, like,
God.
I knew that they would post stuff like that,
Bring
and that's
her
why I wanted
in.
the anti-harassment. I don't want anyone to know I'm here. They post about me nonstop on Facebook, even when I'm not here, and they lie, and I don't like that. I don't want that to happen.
Thank you, Ms. Tolliver. And is it, so Ms. Jones, on behalf of you and Mr. Luttrell, do you want to say something?
Your Honor, if
possible,
Why,
I'm the one that.
why you need the order? I'm sorry?
Mrs. Jones is
If at all possible, I'm the one that they'd like to talk for our family.
Okay, and so describe the family.
So we are a polyamorous family. We are 3 adults, 6 children, staying in the shelter. Let's go as much incident by incident that Ms. Tolliver discussed.
No. Yeah, I don't, hold on. I don't need you to do that. I want you to tell me why you need a protection order.
Those of you who don't know, all 3 of them are dating.
Ms. Tolliver, since the short time she has been here, has been very much putting her nose in our business. The first incident was with the car. I did come in and say, you know, we had been here about an hour beforehand. And the spot was full. Now we were back. My husband is a disabled veteran, and we have the state placard and all that
and
to allow us to park there. And I did say, you know, the car needed to be moved.
It's the husband,
we had been
that lady,
experiencing both
and the other lady
my
up in the
husband
top
Michael
corner.
and myself issues
together.
with our disabilities from having to walk in further in the cold. The next incident was when our daughter Aurora and my wife had slipped on some water out in the hallway on our way to our room. My daughter had split her chin open and bit her tongue. I could not get Miss Tolliver to back up and give me the space I needed to perform a look over on my daughter to make sure that she was okay and didn't have a concussion or any severe injuries. To the point that my husband stepped in, grabbed our daughter, took her out to the car, and we took her up to Capitol. Miss Tolliver, pardon me, I got my teeth out in September, so it's a bit hard for me to talk still. Kept insisting that she was going into shock, was getting hysterical. And then when I firmly and a little bit aggressive myself because I couldn't get the space to properly evaluate my child. Told her to back off. I knew what I was doing. She became aggressive and started throwing out statements like the one child you do have and all this other stuff that I put in the paperwork. There has been incidences where she has sent staff to our door saying that we have left laundry in the laundry room when it wasn't our laundry. That's kind of what kicked everything off, was that incident, her claiming that my husband had bumped her so hard she nearly fell on her bottom. And then she changed it to saying he put hands on her. We have asked staff, I've put in the emails that we have asked staff to, ask her to be a good neighbor and butt out. And that's honestly all we want. We want her to butt out, let us live our lives, stop lying about us like she has in this court paperwork. Yeah, the court paperwork she filed is, I would say, 95% liable. I can't say if her daughter has talked to her father scared or not. I can't say that. So I can only say it's 95% liable. The things that she has alleged about my family, I do not see any evidence that we have harassed her, whereas I have submitted evidence that she has been harassing us, and we have tried to take the proper steps and procedures to end the issue before it got to this point.
Okay,
Wow.
all right. So all the allegations that everybody's making here about not being good neighbors, about mean conduct, about noise,
Smells.
all these things, they aren't things that this statute is intended to address. So I'm going to deny everybody's request for protection order because it's,
Oh, that was quick.
this isn't how we resolve conflicts between human beings that don't arise to the nature of the threats contemplated by the statute. Now,
I mean, they have also talked about the fact that they have guns and that their guns are at their friends' houses, like other
That's-
people say here. So
I listen to you. It's now you have to listen to me. Okay, so you all live in a rather closed, confined environment. It's close, it's not easy. I get all that. But you're gonna have to figure out different ways to not have these issues. And I don't know what the answer is there. You're gonna have to just acknowledge that that's the environment you live in and see if you can achieve some level of peace. Maybe it means you don't speak to each other. If you want to raise complaints, if you want to post things, I can't do anything about, any reports to any agencies. I can't do anything about what people post on their social media or what they say to other people. The law does not allow us to restrict what people do in that regard. So I'm not going to enter orders on behalf of anybody in this case. You all have to understand that there is a limit to what the law can do in this way. The fact that the Luttrells are concerned about, they're saying they've been defamed by Ms. Tolliver. Defamation is a lawsuit you would have to bring. It's not something that's this protection order can do anything about. But regardless, what I've heard, there's nothing in there that contemplates what the statute was meant to regulate. So I'm going to enter denial orders for everybody, and I'll sign those, and they'll do we email them to each one of them? Okay, you'll receive emailed copies of the denial of the order for everybody back and forth. All right, thank all of you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, he
Yikes.
ruled pretty quick on that, and rightfully so.
Thank you.
That was a bunch of petty BS between them. However, I would have liked to have.
And that will conclude.
Oh, shoot, that was
I
it
would
for
like
today.
to have dove a little bit more deep into the smells and what else was going on. TBA,
Yeah.
but
The whole thing, I mean, I was very surprised when they broke out with the, polyamorous throuple going on over there. And
Yeah,
she
I'm
has a husband and a wife. Good for her.
I understand where they're at and stuff. I think if I was a judge, I probably would have said something about that or asked a little bit about it. But I think he's just wanted to move on to the next case. I get it. I understand.
That was a doozy.
in their neighbors. And Judge Middleton just cut his feed, but look how nice these cameras are now.
I know. I came by here earlier and there was zero audio.
That sounds about right. His audio is still god awful, low, way lower than everybody else. But it's a little bit better for the other people, it seems. But what do we know? Got Stansbury. If we want to jump over to Licking,
go ahead. He was on earlier.
Have to do that on your own, but you know the drill. Don't wait until the day of your trial to deal with getting a lawyer, because I can't speak with Judge George. But if your case were pending in front of me and I told you all this stuff, and then you showed up on the day of trial without an attorney anyway, you'd probably deny any motion to continue. Okay. So that being said, Mr. Coleman, good luck with the job hunt. Do you have any other questions today?
No, sir.
And you may go with the officer. Thank you. Good luck.
I lucked out. I have awesome neighbors all around.
No. He's gonna get an ID and go to temp services.
I have neighbors,
Okay,
I think
Sarah
the neighbor
Davis.
is left indefinitely or something. I don't know.
Sarah Davis. Ma'am, are you Miss Davis? Miss Davis, you have 3 cases that are currently pending before the court. All have been assigned to Judge George, and he issued warrants in them for presumably your failure to appear for court. Let's double check that. Yeah, it looks like this was earlier this year, back in January. Because your cases were assigned to Judge George, the only thing I'm going to do today is set bonds for you and refer the matter back. I wanted to advise you that your attorney, Mr. Beckman, filed a motion to withdraw as your counsel, and that was granted. So technically right now you're not represented by an attorney, but you still have the right to be, and you're eligible to ask for court-appointed counsel. Understand?
Yes.
There we go. All right. Okay.
She
Have
looks
you seen
real
the
familiar.
common police court magistrate yet for a bond on the felony charge?
Yes.
And what did they set your bond at in that case?
5,000.
5,000? Okay. All right. So what is your, I mean, I know right now you're being held in lieu of bond, but if you weren't in jail, what would your address be?
It was the same one, 3880 Easter Road.
Okay. The last one I had was, in this case anyway, was, looks like 164 Fairfield.
Oh yeah, that was my and Spencer's. That's the Clayton, the Clayton's address that we lived together. Yeah, that was his address. Well, our address.
Hey now.
But
Yeah, it looks like they have 164 Fairfield on all 3 of these cases. So make sure that you update your address when you sign up on your bond paperwork. Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to say before I set your bond?
Other than no, there's so much I can, but I don't know.
Right. Right. Well, you have a number of matters that you're going to need to resolve, and I can appreciate.
Correct.
I can appreciate the desire to try to get it taken care of as quickly as possible.
She should at least said something like,
You got to get it where you can get it, no matter
Do
what
you
it
know who
is.
posted your bonds?
I'm sorry,
Who posted your bonds the last time when you posted bond to be released?
my sister.
Okay. Well, the Judge George did conduct forfeiture proceedings, and he did order that the bond be
you're fine. George.
forfeited.
Have a seat.
So that's one more thing you can take up with him. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna do a.
I would mess with her.
Because they're all the same. Okay. I don't think I asked you. Prior to your arrest, were you employed?
For this one, kind of, yeah, I had a death in a funeral. I had a big state. It was a death, immediate family death. So I had at least state. My father passed away in January. That's why I wasn't here the first time when I got in this court.
Yeah, we have had her
I
on here
came
before.
back, and then my grandmother passed away. So I left again. And that's why I didn't make it to my second court date. Mr. Spencer was supporting me at the time, but supposedly. He was supposed to help me out and call the courts, but I didn't have a phone. He did. So when I got back, that's when I found out about all these warrants. That's when I found out in this court. That's when everything. And then I tried to get a hold of the attorney. He didn't return phone calls. Apparently, I now know why.
We have seen this woman before. I remember her story about the leaving town for a funeral.
At IHOP
It's got a voice of an angel.
before my father passed away.
Well, it sounds like you've experienced quite a bit of loss recently, so you certainly have my condolences. When Judge George issued the warrants on your 3 cases, on each case he set a bond at $1,500 cash surety or 10%. I don't know whether you overheard me discussing the matter with the other gentleman, but I will typically go ahead and defer to the issuing judge. And when Judge George issued your warrants, he set bonds at $1,500 cash surety or 10% on all 3 cases. So I'm going to go ahead and leave him in that amount. We'll get this referred back to Judge George. If you want to get a lawyer again, and you don't necessarily have to have the same one you used to have, but if you want the same one, put that person's name down. But they'll get these rescheduled for trials. Do you have any other questions today?
Do you know how long it'll be for a rescheduled trial?
It'll be relatively quick. You are being held in lieu of bond, but also you're being held in lieu of bond on a different case too. So I'm not so sure the 3-for-1 speedy trial calculation counts there, but it'll be very quickly. So if you're going to go for counsel, get that application filled out ASAP. Any questions?
No.
All right, Miss Davis, you may go with the officer. Good luck to you.
She went a long way around to tell him no. I lost
Hunter
my job
Donaldson.
at IHOP.
I think I hear too.
She's got to be nearby.
I hear. Then Monday is complete without her.
Good afternoon, sir. You Mr. Donaldson? Yes?
Yes, sir.
All right. You understand your rights in court today?
Man of many words.
Yes, sir.
Did you receive a copy of the 2 complaints that were filed against you?
I did, sir.
Well-known Abraham Lincoln impersonator.
He got his hair did, unlike Judge Stansbury.
Okay. So the first count, the Reynoldsburg Police Department alleges that on or about March the 27th of this year in their city and in Lincoln County, Ohio, that you knowingly caused or attempted to cause physical harm to a family or household member. That's commonly known as domestic violence. It's a misdemeanor of the 1st degree. Maximum penalty there is up to 180 days in the county jail and up to a $1,000 fine. The second count alleges that on or about that same date, same location, you did knowingly cause or attempt to cause physical harm to another person. That's commonly known as assault. The difference between the two is, in order to obtain a conviction for domestic violence, the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim was a family or household member. Excuse me. For the offense of assault, they don't. So that's why these are just 2 different theories of the same set of alleged facts. In essence, the state is hedging its bets that if it is unable to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim was a family or household member, that they could still obtain a conviction if they were able to prove that you knowingly caused or attempted to cause physical harm to that person anyway. So each charge is a 1st-degree misdemeanor, and as I mentioned, that's up to 180 days, up to a $1,000 fine. How do you wish to plead, Mr. Donaldson?
Not guilty.
And what is your current address?
Uh-oh.
Are you going to be staying someplace else?
Think carefully.
Not staying anywhere.
So are you homeless at the moment then?
Yeah, since they
I'll just
taken my
exist,
house,
Your
I
Honor.
guess.
All right. Let me take a quick look here at the file, then we're going to talk about.
But they were getting another house, actually. It is my house. So
Okay.
My house is a
Thank you,
very, very,
Carol.
very fine house. Carol. Quoting for days. Like he's like, I'm not going to live anywhere. There. I said it.
I can't get up. I can't get up.
I can hug whoever I like in my house.
Yeah, we get it. It's your house.
Any time of the day. And I will continue to do so, as I did the first time. I'm not guilty.
This dude's weird.
He's
All right,
very
bear
weird.
with me here, Mr. Donaldson. It's a rather lengthy narrative report.
Acid reflux, JJ. Does he have a Revis band too? I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, I would never try and hurt Mr. Rick.
This dude is-
Yeah.
Are you employed, Mr. Donaldson?
No.
Of course I am, sir.
Unfortunately, you are, or fortunately, you are.
Of course I do, sir.
And where do you work?
I work.
Come on, think about it.
With my dad?
I work.
Where do I work?
I remember, sir.
You don't remember where you work?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay,
But I do
that was
work.
awkward.
I don't seem to remember.
Of course I do.
Of course I got a job.
Okay.
Oh, you think I'm a bum?
So,
Homeless
one
bum
last
at
thing I
that?
wanted to see.
I own a house, sir.
This bird doesn't believe it. There we go.
It's like he's looking at the paper to try to get an idea of where he worked at.
Wow. What a guy.
Does he throw out a option of fake employment at any given point down the road? Because I kind of think.
All right. So here's what we're going to do today, Mr. Donaldson. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance on 2 conditions. Number 1, you're not to consume any alcohol or drugs while the bond is in place. Number 2, you're not to have any violent contact with anyone, which would, of course, include anybody who is residing in the home with you. Now, this case will be, now I always kind of explain that by saying if the cops get called out because of some kind of incident or event, even if they don't file charges, your bond could still get revoked for a violation of that term and condition. So it's important that you follow that. The other condition is that you're not consuming alcohol or drugs. We'll get this randomly assigned to a judge and set for a trial. Unless and until you get a lawyer, we're going to send notices directly to you. So make sure the address that's on your bond paperwork that you'll sign down there is where you want your mail to go. If you want to get a lawyer, you can hire one if you like, or you can go court appointed, and you can even get the application for court appointed counsel down there. However, because I am releasing you and I'm verifying that you don't have anything else, and doesn't look like you do, you should be released, which means the jail will not submit your application for counsel for you, but you'll have to do that on your own. Just don't wait until the day of your trial. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right. You do have to take affirmative steps. So, Mr. Donaldson, you have any additional questions?
Not at all.
Then you may go with the officer. Thank you, sir.
All right.
I don't think I'd let him out.
What a guy.
All right. Next, we have Tessa Glancy.
Pillar of the community.
Good afternoon, Miss. Are you Miss Glancy?
Yes.
And Miss
Hey,
Glancy, you're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest when you failed to appear for your arraignment. It looks like that was the most recent occasion was back on December the 5th. So basically, we're taking this from the top. Did they give you a copy of the motion
Yes.
or the complaint? Did you read it? Did you understand what it is you've been charged with?
Yes. For the.
Yeah, the Heath Police Department is alleging that on or about June 29th of last year, within the city of Heath and in Lincoln County, Ohio, that you did knowingly with the purpose to deprive the owner of property valued less than $1,000, obtained or exerted control over that property without consent of the owner. That is commonly known as theft. It's a first-degree misdemeanor, and the maximum penalties there are up to 180 days jail, up to $1,000 fine. How do you wish to plead today, Miss Glancy?
Not guilty.
And what is your current address?
1402 Villa Circle, Newark, Ohio, 42056.
Now, the last time you were here, you told us your address was 1402 Ridgely Track Road. That's an awful bit of a coincidence.
It shows up different on the map because it's right outside the trailer park. But it's still part of the trailer park.
Are you talking
Trailer
about
park
Ram Creek?
adjacent.
Yeah, no. It's Villa Circle, Villa Vista Circle Trailer Park.
And who do you live with there?
My sister. My
Are you
mom and my
employed?
sister. Not at the moment, but I was actively looking.
They have good recruitment and looking.
The best of the best. I can see that.
Oh, she's got that whole, that grunge feel like Grano said. Yeah, well, definitely.
All right. Okay. Well, is there anything that you'd like to say before I decide what your bond should be here?
Think about it.
I thought my bond was already set or something.
Well, you did have a bond, but then when you didn't show up for court.
I didn't have a ride at that time. I'll be staying with my sister if I'm granted an OR bond.
Do you have a giant chest tattoo? Oh, I hope so. I see it popping out there.
It's probably like a crown or something. Royalty.
Yes, great.
And where were you when you got arrested? Over at the hospital?
I'm sorry, what?
Where were you
I was
when you
at-
got arrested this weekend?
I was at McDonald's waiting for my mom to pick me up.
They didn't arrest you at the hospital?
No, they took me to the hospital. There's
Well,
a-
maybe that's where they initially placed you under arrest.
Technical difficulties there, Mikey?
Oh, I deleted the monetary monorail by accident. I had to go back and do it by memory.
So if anybody's missing, that
Okay, you also have a traffic case from February of last year. I think it's the sheriff. Let me double check.
Yeah, I believe I didn't have insurance, or maybe it was like
Yeah, she's a
SR
hard
22 or
trailer park
something.
9 for sure.
It was, yep, sheriff's office. So the sheriff's office is alleging that on or about February the 14th of last year, at approximately 9:47 p.m., you were operating a 2010 white Chevy on State Route 16 near Cedar Street within the city of Newark and Lincoln County, Ohio, while under a license forfeiture. They're not alleging that you have at least 2 prior convictions for that within 3 years, so that is an unclassified misdemeanor. There's no jail time associated with the charge. However, you could face community service hours. You could face a fine of up to $1,000 and up to a 1-year suspension of your right to apply for a license.
Hello,
How do you
Andy.
want to plead to the traffic charge?
Not guilty.
Okay.
She's
Now
never
this
done nothing wrong in her life.
ticket's so old, it has a Terrace Drive address. How long has it
Yeah,
been
I was
since you
with
lived
my
there?
ex-boyfriend at the time.
What's that?
I was living with an ex-boyfriend at the time.
Then we won't talk about that.
One of many.
No.
Hello, live cam clips. Welcome.
Ex-boyfriend.
Moved on quick from that.
Well, yeah. Pretty lady like her. She's got a lot of options. Great. A lot of options.
Bounces around a little bit, Angela.
All right. So a couple of things that factor into my decisions here. For the traffic thing, it's unclassified. There's no jail time. That's an OR bond. However, not only did you fail to appear initially on your summons, after you posted your bond, you didn't come back after that either. So the court's going to go ahead and set bond in the amount of $5,000, cash surety or 10%. We'll get this assigned randomly to one of the judges and set for a trial, and it'll happen fast because every day you sit in there in lieu of this bond, it counts as 3 days towards your speedy trial. Normally that's 90 days. So for you, it's 30 days. So this is going to get set quick. You have the right to apply for counsel, and they have the application form there at the jail. If you're not going to be able to post your bond, they'll send it in for you. If you are, they will not. And you also have the right, obviously, to go out and hire private counsel if you wish. But the key is, if you want to get a lawyer, deal with that right away. Don't wait until the day of your trial. Do you have any other questions today?
So what am I doing? I'm sorry. I don't understand.
So your bond is $5,000, cash surety or 10%. If you're able to post that either by putting the entire amount up or 10% of that amount up, or you deal with a bail bonds person and they put it up for you, you'll be released. And then you'll be expected to come back. And if you don't, both you and whoever posted your bond are on the hook for the entire $5,000. If you're unable to post your bond, you will be held at the jail until such time as your case goes to trial or any other new development disposes of the case. But as I said, that trial is going to get set super quick. But you will be there until and unless you post that bond. Any questions?
Okay, no.
All right, you may go with the officer. Thank you, Miss Glancy.
She's like, explain to me like I'm a child.
Wendell Mullins.
Is that this many?
Good afternoon, sir. You Mr. Mullins?
Yes, sir.
All right, we just got a little business to clean up from last year. April the 18th, 2022 at approximately 10:12 p.m. It's alleged by the Itasca Police Department that you were operating an 03 GMC on Broad Street near Ming Street in Itasca, Lincoln County, Ohio, while under a license forfeiture. Failure to reinstate. Also, that you were displaying fictitious registration. I don't have an abstract of your driving record, so I have to assume that the driver's license charge is an unclassified misdemeanor. That doesn't carry any jail time, but it does pull in the possibility of community service hours, a fine of up to $1,000, and up to a 1-year suspension of your right to apply for a license. The fictitious tags charge is an M4, so that's actually up to 30 days, up to a $250 fine. How would you like to plead to the two charges?
You guys are nuts. I love it.
How is I'm getting charged same thing? I'm getting fictitious tags and I'm receiving stolen property on the same tags.
I noticed that you did have the RSP charge on there, at least on the jail roster. I don't know anything about it. If that's what they're claiming that it was, that you could be charged with, well, put it this way. So you're saying, how can I get charged with RSP, but then also get charged with, displaying fictitious registration? You can, be in possession of an illegal object and still get charged with the receiving stolen property and the underlying charge of possession. See what I'm saying? So either way, how do you want to plead?
Not guilty.
All right. What's your mailing address?
Yes, they've been in jail overnight, so they're usually not
3071 High Walton Street.
looking great.
Columbus, Ohio.
All right. Have you seen the common police court magistrate on your RSP?
Just seen them, yes.
Yeah. What do they set your bond at?
25,000.
Yikes. Okay. Well, I'll OR you on this. But we'll get this randomly assigned set for a trial. You'll get notice by mail the next court date. But if you get a lawyer, the lawyer gets the notices. You can hire one if you like, but you can also make an application for court-appointed counsel. They have those at the jail. And if you're not able to post that other bond, they'll send it down here for you. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mullins. You may go with the officer. Good luck to you.
How old are you since you're on a $25,000
Chad Oliver.
bond?
I love it. Yikes, he's that.
Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Oliver?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Oliver, do you understand your rights in court today?
Yes, I do, sir.
Did you receive a copy of the complaint that was filed against you?
Yes, I did, sir.
Did you read it? Do you understand what it is they claim you did?
Yes, I did.
All right. So it looks like they arrested you for both obstructing and resisting. They only filed an obstructing charge. So it's obstructing official business. They're alleging that on or about March the 24th, within the city of Newark and Lincoln County, Ohio, that you, without privilege to do so and with purpose to hinder, obstruct, or delay the performance by a public official of any act authorized within the public official's official capacity, performed an act which hampered or impeded a public official in the performance of the public official's lawful duties. As I mentioned, that's called obstructing official business. It's a second-degree misdemeanor, and it carries up to 180 days in jail. Up to 90 days in jail, up to a $750 fine. How would you like to plead to the charge, sir?
I like to plead guilty to that, sir.
You say not guilty or guilty?
Way too well spoken.
Guilty.
Okay.
Guilty.
Before I can accept your guilty plea, you said guilty, right?
Yes, I did.
So before I can accept that plea, I need to verify that you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney by hiring one of your choosing, but you're also eligible to ask the court to appoint an attorney to represent you at no cost, which we would do if you qualify. Was it your intention to waive that right today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Even without a lawyer, you remain presumed innocent. The state has the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to confront your accusers and to subpoena your own witnesses, and a right not to testify without it being counted against you.
You guys are cracking us up today.
Yes, I do, sir.
Now, if you plead guilty, you admit to committing the offense. The state doesn't have to prove anything. You give up your right to a trial along with those other rights. I'll decide what the sentence should be, and we'll wrap this thing up today. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, I do, sir.
All right. And did you understand the maximum possible penalties as I described them earlier? Because I will be proceeding to post sentence if I accept your plea.
Yes, sir. I understand everything.
Now, Mr. Oliver, has anybody threatened you in any way or promised you anything to get you to do what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of anything right now?
No, sir.
And are you a citizen of the United States of America?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, let me take a quick look at the file, and then I'll give you a chance to make a statement if you want, but you'll not be required to, okay? I just want to see what they got going on. Okay.
First guilty of the day.
Yeah, and again, extremely well spoken and well mannered. For licking, anyways, it's a pleasure to.
It's a pleasure to do business with this guy.
Yeah, to do business with this guy.
Somebody say he looked like Bull from Night Court.
Oh, he definitely looks like you.
All right. So, did you or did you not have a warrant?
I
mean, they don't have anything on the jail roster saying you've got like a holder or you've got other charges pending.
I don't know if I got a warrant or not. I don't think I do. Why? Why do you say that for?
Well, you talk about that.
The narrative report simply says Chad advised he thought he had a warrant, and that was the reason why he was running from us.
I never, no, I said that the girl that I was with, I didn't want the girl because I was in the car, I didn't want anything, you know what I mean, to do with whatever she was in, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, she just gave me a ride somewhere.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to say?
Oh, I'd like to say I'm sorry for this, and I'd like to see if you can probably impose probation or community service and credit me for whatever jail time that I've already served. And because I just started Narcotics Anonymous 2 weeks ago, and
Legit.
I'm trying to get my life back together.
All right. Well, I wish you the best.
I did have probation back in 2016 that I completed successfully in Licking County.
Well, how's a $150 fine, court costs, and credit for time served sound?
That sounds great.
Now, that'll put to the test your commitment to NA, because I'm not putting you on probation. You're not going to have to keep doing it to stay out of jail. But if you're serious about wanting to change your life, you'll stick with it. Okay?
Oh, I'm dead serious.
Okay. Well, I hope you are, and I do wish you the best of luck in your recovery efforts. Do you have any other questions today?
No.
Very well, Mr. Oliver. You may go with the officer. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Gregory Parks. Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Parks?
Yes, sir, I am.
And Mr. Parks, do you understand your rights in court today?
Yes, I did.
Did you receive a copy of the complaint in your case?
Yes, I did, sir.
Did you read it? Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
The Licking County Sheriff is alleging that on or about March the 24th of this year in the township of Harrison in Licking County, Ohio, she knowingly caused or attempted to cause physical harm to a family or household member. That offense is commonly known as domestic violence. It's a first-degree misdemeanor, and it carries up to 180 days in jail and up to a $1,000 fine. How do you wish to plead, sir?
Not guilty, sir.
And your current address?
150 Jefferson Ridge Drive, Pataskala, 43062.
Are you employed?
Absolutely.
Where do you work?
I work for Stone Creek Interior Systems in Lewis Center.
And what do they do?
I'm sorry?
What do they do?
We are a casework provider. I estimate schools, K through 12 schools, and higher education science labs, lab equipment. I read blueprints all day. I'm an estimator, and
look at this guy.
We serve the states of Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana.
2 in a row.
I've been there for 9 years.
Okay.
It's a good job.
One of the best descriptions of a job I've ever heard over in Licking. I'll tell you that much.
Sounds like it pays good.
What was his charges? I didn't even.
All right, let me take a quick look here at the file, then we're going to talk about your bond. So give me 1 second, all right?
Bonsai baggy the file.
Well, more than 1 second, but.
Bonsai.
Okay.
I didn't hear when he brought him up. Did you hear what the charges were? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, that's right. Yep, it was DV.
Domestic violence.
A little loud back there. That's funny. I don't remember hearing the printer that often. We definitely heard it good earlier.
Yeah, they're running a print shop out there.
Just FYI, I can hang out for 1 or 2 more, but Creed's got about 14 more packages that's got to go out before.
And I've got to finish packing. I haven't finished packing for my trip.
I know I can't unsee them now, but I have a feeling it goes with his hair today. We need to get a haircut. He needs to find a Sport Clips in order number 1 through 4. Kirdoff. Why would you say that? This dude is like the second well-spoken, well-mannered dude. I'm going to believe everything that comes out of his mouth and same with the guy before. I mean, compared to what we see here in Licking, this is surprising. And how about nobody in the pews today?
Yeah, clean house.
Is everybody getting their dog's license?
Everybody's doing it right. Everybody's doing good. Real good.
Oh,
Jessica.
Okay, so in reviewing the court file and taking a look at your criminal history, which is non-existent, court's going to go ahead and release you on your own recognizance on 2 conditions. Number 1, you're not to have any violent contact with any family or household member. Now, what that means is that if the cops get called out because there's an allegation of, it getting physical again, even if they don't arrest you or charge you with a new offense, your bond could still get revoked if there was sufficient evidence to show that you violated that term. So it's important that you comply with that. The other term and condition is that you're not to consume any alcohol or drugs while the bond is in place. This case will be randomly assigned to a judge and set for a trial. You're going to be notified by mail at the next court date until and unless an attorney gets involved on your behalf. If you get a lawyer, the lawyer will get the notices and in turn notify you. And it's important you stay in very close contact with your lawyer. You obviously have the right to hire whatever attorney you choose, but you're also eligible to ask the court to appoint an attorney to represent you, which we will do at no cost if you qualify. You have the application available to you at the jail, but since I'm releasing you, they are not going to send that in for you. That'll be your responsibility. That being said, sir, do you have any questions?
I do not. I'd just like to make a statement.
Well, hold off. Now's really not the time. A, you're getting released. B, you're still on trial. And C, anything you say could be used against you.
Understood.
All right?
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Very well. You may go with the officer, Mr. Parks. Thank you.
You too.
I find it so strange how many people feel the need
to say something.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Casey Puckett. Are you Mr. Puckett, sir?
Well, hey, watch your mouth,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Puckett, you understand your rights in court today?
Puckett.
Yes, sir.
Did you receive a copy of the 3 complaints that were filed against you?
The 2, yes.
Well, there
Zero.
are 3. I'll go ahead and I'll read them. The first count in the complaint alleges that on or about March the 24th of this year, within the city of Newark and Lincoln County, Ohio, that you knowingly caused another person to believe that you would cause serious physical harm to them or their unborn or their family members. That's commonly known as aggravated menacing. It's a misdemeanor of the first degree, punished by up to 180 days in jail and up to a $1,000 fine. The second count alleges the same offense. They don't mention specifically who was supposedly threatened, but since they filed 2 counts, I've got to believe that they're claiming there were 2 different people. The last charge alleges that in Newark and in Lincoln County, Ohio, on that same date, that you knowingly caused or attempted to cause physical harm to another person, specifically a Roger Nice. That's commonly known as assault. It's a first-degree misdemeanor. The maximum penalty there is up to 180 days, up to a $1,000 fine as well. So that being said, Mr. Puckett, how do you wish to plead?
Not guilty.
I would have pled pluck it.
Fuck it. Why not? Fighting Roger Nice.
All right. And what is your current address?
It's off of Reddington Ave. I don't know the full number, but I can make a phone call and get it. I don't want the paperwork sent to my wife's house, well, my house.
Okay. Well, we'll send it to whatever address you put down on your bond paperwork. All right.
Okay.
Don't send
All
it
right,
to
let
my
me
old
take a
lady.
quick look here at the file, then we're going to address your bond in a moment. So bear with me.
Okay. Thank you.
Can't have this going to my wife.
I'm guessing he's in a new residence, and his wife is at their house.
She's still got the house.
That's my guess. Or
Mr.
that. How about that? I never really thought about that.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's entirely possible. Like you give a family member's address out to hide it from your wife or girlfriend
or boyfriend. Maybe Roger's lover.
Could be a scorned lover. Maybe he's in a poly relationship at the shelter with many others and doesn't know the address there, and they use a. By the way, going back to that very quickly, I'm pretty sure they did use a tarp for their shower curtain. That's what it looked like to me.
I was thinking those tarps were like segmenting off rooms.
Oh,
She said she lived in the common area.
That could be. Needed an extra room or something. Oh, we'll just hang up a sheet or a tarp or something. And this is your space. That's right.
Did I ask you if you were employed?
No, sir, but yes, I am.
Where do you work?
I work at Kingspan through Randstad. It's a temp service.
Okay. What's your current assignment?
I work with insulation, thermal insulation.
All right. I'll give you an opportunity to make a statement before I set your bond, but I want to caution you, it's probably not wise to talk about what may or may not have happened Friday because everything you're saying is being recorded, could possibly be used against you later on down the road. So anything you want to say?
Yes, sir. I don't
know of what menacing I did, but I'm assuming it was towards my wife, but I've never done anything wrong to my wife ever. And that's the only statement I have to make.
Oh, there was two.
Well, they're alleging that there were two people at the residence and that you threatened both of them with a firearm. That's the allegation. I'm not saying that's what happened. That's what was in what I read in the report.
I know. Thank you.
Whew. Well, that's not good. You think maybe Roger maybe we had Roger paired up with the wrong person. Roger might be with his wife.
Could be.
She could be the one doing the stepping, and he's the one that's doing the fetching.
I just don't understand how you're confused about situations like this on nights when you get arrested and stuff. I
don't know what
it amazes me.
I don't know why I'm here, Your Honor. Yeah, don't send that to his wife. She might not be too happy.
I mean, there's got to
All
be.
right. So based on what I read here in the police report, I am going to set a cash or surety or 10% bond in the amount of $2,500. Two conditions. Number one, no contact with Haley Puckett or Roger Nice. And number two, you're not to be in possession of any weapons. That means not just firearms, but guns, knives, clubs, things of that nature. Now, we're going to get this. Beg your pardon?
I wasn't an OR. Sorry.
It's not an OR. I'll answer any questions you might have in a moment. Just let me finish letting you know what's
Definitely
going
not
to happen.
an OR.
So this gets randomly assigned to a judge, set for a trial. We send you notice of that court date. If you're unable to post your bond, it's going to happen extremely quickly because you have to be brought to trial within 30 days. If you are able to post your bond, it might be a little bit farther out because if you're not incarcerated, they would have 90 days to bring this case to trial. You have the right to be represented by counsel. You can hire an attorney of your choosing if you like. You can apply for court-appointed counsel. They have the application at the jail, and if you're unable to post your bond and you won't be released, they will send it down here for you. But if you do post your bond and you get out, then you definitely need to get that turned in on your own. And the key is don't wait until the day of your trial to deal with getting an attorney. Understand?
Okay. And how much was the bond?
It's going to be a $2,500 cash or 10%. So 10% of 2,500 is I'm giving it away that I actually know how to do some math. It's $250 plus some fees. So you're talking ballpark around $300, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
If you post the bond and you fail to appear in the future, your bond can be forfeited, which means you'd be on the hook for the entire $2,500, and so would whoever posted it on your behalf. So that's why it's important to show back up. But other than that, do you have any additional questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Puckett. You may go with the officer.
All right, one more in the hopes that we get to see Sue today, because
all right, Shannon Ryan.
Lady Lois, welcome. You made great choices today.
Way better choices than Shannon has made.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Are you Miss Ryan?
Yes, sir.
And Miss Ryan, do you understand your rights in court today?
Yeah.
All right, you're here because I issued a warrant for your arrest. It looks like last week when you didn't show up for your jury trial, and we're here today to address that warrant and to set a bond for you. Okay?
Everybody was here waiting
I
for
didn't
you.
receive anything in the mail for that. I've been going to all my court dates, my probation, everything, and I haven't received anything for it at my address. That's what I was confused about.
And your address is
465C Edgemont, but I had not received anything further to come back for you.
Well, you have an attorney. The attorney
When I was there, it was continued, and I didn't have my attorney. And then we filled out paperwork for an attorney, and I never received any other paperwork for it.
Well, Mr. Miranda was.
And I've also been for my other cases have came to my home. Any other thing has, and I have not received anything. Whether it got mixed up with my neighbor's mail or anything, I'm not quite sure. But I've been to everything I'm supposed to be going to, and
maybe the dog.
And I never received anything from a lawyer either. That's the reason why we had to continue it. I've been at home. I've been everything I needed to go to court-wise and stuff, and I have not received nothing.
Half bag.
Where are you on probation?
Nothing.
Felony?
Gotcha. Licking County?
Yeah. I've been everywhere I needed to go.
Except for court. During
She's
your
hard.
jury trial.
She's hard as nails, son. She ain't gonna cry.
So when they told me yesterday, I was just riding my bike, and he said I had a warrant, and I'm kind of confused about that. Like,
On a bike ride, Creed. A bike ride.
Because I've been in front of you and I didn't have an attorney, so it was continued, but I hadn't received any other new paperwork for it.
According to the Common Pleas Court website, you were supposed to change your plea to the charges in the felony where they were both, looks like possession charges. Well, no, one was a possession, one was a failure to appear. And you were allegedly supposed
I was there I was there and my lawyer did not show up and they said
I'm
something.
talking about for the felony. These records say you were supposed to change your plea on Friday, which means you can't be on probation because you didn't show up for that either, correct?
I never received anything for Friday.
You just, nobody tells you anything, do they?
Something's gotten messed up here.
Mm-hmm. You've heard of a phone, right? And you've heard of walking down to the clerk's office. You've heard of.
Oh dear, wasn't aware of it, honey. Mr. Your Honor, I wasn't aware of it.
Mr. Your Honor.
Okay, anything else you want to say before I set your bond?
I don't know what's happened here with my mail. Maybe it's been being messed with. I don't know, but I have not received nothing on going to another court date for you for the falsification thing for 3 years ago, or what you're talking about Friday.
Yeah,
I'm quite confused with all of it because I'm not aware of any of it. If I had to be there, I would have been there. If I had known about it, I would have been there. I've been to every other thing that I've been to. I got animals at home. My door is unlocked. I've been to everything that I'm supposed to have been to.
Well, obviously you haven't been. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you about the warrant for failing to appear.
Well, I understand that, but I wasn't aware that I had something. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I did not receive something in the mail stating I had to be anywhere.
Well, here's what we're doing today, Miss Ryan. I'm going to make sure that you know where you're supposed to be. I'm going to set your bond at $5,000 cash or surety only.
It is.
No alcohol, no drugs. And we'll get a new court date, and we'll let Mr. Itam know that you were picked up on your warrant. You have any other questions today?
I'm still confused. I have to pay another bond?
If you want to be released from the jail, yes. Any other questions?
Witchy poo falling on a
Are
hard
you
time.
serious?
Ma'am, your
even
charges from
aware of
October
this,
of 2020. I'm not going to argue about your bond. I've said it. It is what it is. Now, you
when
may
was
go
I
with the
mailed?
officer, ma'am.
When was I mailed something, sir?
You may go with the officer, ma'am.
I
Thank
wasn't
you.
mailed any. I've gotten everything else.
Brandon Schmidt.
Oh, Schmidt's up.
The old, it's lost in the mail excuse.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand your rights in court today?
Got that loud Lubbock hair.
Did you receive a copy of your citation?
I did not.
Stay tuned.
The State Highway Patrol is alleging that on or about March the 25th of this year at approximately 6:01 p.m., you were operating a silver 03 Toyota on Mink Street near Jug Street in Jersey Township, Licking County, Ohio, while under the influence of alcohol and/or drug of abuse. It's further alleged that you were operating that vehicle with an expired driver's license. They're saying it was expired less than 6 months.
Son of a
And you've also been
bitch, Mr. Schmidt. How dare you? I hate that we didn't get to see Sue today. At least we heard her and her copier today. No phones ringing there today. So maybe a good day for Sue. You know, that phone rings off the hook.
It does some ringing here and there for sure.
You know. All right, Mikey's got to do some packing. He's heading to LA to WrestleMania.
Gonna go do some wrestling and hopefully meet up with some of you guys on Saturday, high noon, right there at the crypto.com, or I call it the Staples Center.
High noon.
High noon.
Thank you guys. Great to see some new names in the chat. Like Mikey said earlier, too. Great growth lately, and we love that. Hope that it continues. We always love that extra added amount thrown in there, making our Monday just that much better. And of course, the comments. You guys cracking me up today. I loved it. Appreciate that. Now I will say thank you to Flusha. Miss Tucker, if you're nasty. Carol, Angela, Gary the Terminator, Iowa Golfer Lacer, Who's Handsome, Bud Smoke, Angela Bonsai, Kiernoff, Lady Lotus. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. Be back at 405 East, I think, right? Oh,
yeah.
I was only tonight.
Excitement. Nothing but the best around here, kids. If you haven't already subscribed, if you're over on, maybe you're on the Credence and Mikey channel, If you'd like to just find court cases, go over to We Got a Case. That is We Got a Case. We'd appreciate you subscribing there because eventually one day all the court stuff will be there. But till then, you might get some exclusive stuff. So check it out. Thank you, Chris. I will.
He'll
Thank
do his
you,
best.
Chris did me a huge favor and signed me up for the early bird restoration thing or whatever it's called for, checking into your flight. That way I don't have to worry about it and I can get a good seat. It's like getting on
I don't think you got that right. Early bird restoration. I don't think.
Yeah. That's it. It's a Southwest thing. I can't help what they call stuff. Somebody asked about Manning. There she is right there.
There she is. Hopefully, seriously, after the week I'm sure that she had, I hope to God she gets a few days off to recover. That's all I'm saying. Kona's mom, welcome. Be kind, rewind.
Yes, it's worth it. All right, guys, we'll see you for the next one. I've got to pick my seat, Creed. My seat. Yes, old people. Old people problems.
He got a bicycle. He got a bicycle from somebody